Hi there, you're watching Gardens and Graveyards, where we bring our passion of gardening to the grave. Today, we are in our own garden, and we're going to prune some roses. Now, it is the 16th of February, and I always prune my roses right around Valentine's Day. Why? Well, because it's the best time to prune your roses, and Valentine's reminds me about roses. And if I don't have it on my calendar, and I've completely forgotten about roses, every billboard, every TV ad, every radio ad, my husband, somebody's gonna say something about Valentine's Day, and I'm gonna remember, oh yeah, I gotta prune my roses. So that's where we're at today. And I don't have a whole lot of roses. We have been expanding this rose garden over the years, and it has come a long way and it's continuing, so we'll probably be adding more, but for right now we just have a handful of roses. I have my rose gloves on. These are goat skin, and then they've got extra protection and extra reinforcement on the fingertips because we're dealing with some heavy-duty thorns. And then I just have my regular old pruners, and we're just gonna get at it. So you're gonna notice, or maybe not because you're kind of far away, but there's new growth growing on these. And for years I was so afraid to trim anything that had new growth on it, but the reality is they will be so much stronger if I cut them down. I don't want to cut down into the dark gray wood because that is old and may or may not rejuvenate. This is a transplant that's been here for maybe 30 years, and we moved it over here, but it's been on this property for a very long time. So I'm a little bit careful with this one, but we will cut it down so it's got some good main stems. Ta-da! Right. Take one of these. So this is a climbing rose, and so it gets trimmed a little bit differently. I am going to take off any leaves that I see. And it's a very new rose. We just put it in last summer. You can see this one's like way over here. And we don't want it growing over there, we want it growing up. So I'm just gonna bring it in here. And very carefully get it up through there. And I will prune this right here. This is dead, so we could just take it out. This is also growing the wrong direction. I'm just gonna take that out. This isn't quite big enough to get pulled back, and I'm not even sure if I'm gonna keep this because it's so far away, but we'll just keep our eye on it and see how it goes. We may not need this one anymore. We'll tie this one in here. Breaking things, that's okay. I don't know. I feel like this one's gonna come out eventually. I don't know. I could take off that though. Move over here. Your angel's on your face. Most of the storms are over, so I feel like I can put her back up. We have salal and fern. This thing is growing wonky. This up through here. This is growing the wrong way. Oh, look at one. It's got a frozen bloom. And this one's really weak, so we're just going to take that out of there. That's weak. Pruning these down to strong stems. This might not stay either, I don't know. Get it to grow that way.
That'll work.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go ahead and move some of these things that are sort of crowding it.
Catmint, right?
Blackberry. It's kind of broken in there, so take that out of there. Come back for that later. Okay, lean into this rose. Obviously dead and broken, don't need that. This one doesn't look too great. Take that out. And these ones, they say I could take these down to like 18 inches, but makes me nervous.
Me too.
But like you could see some of these don't look that great. This one. The other thing is you want to make sure that there's plenty of airflow. These roses aren't that old. See how this one's growing in? If I cut it here, then we're gonna have a crossing branch. But it has some damage there, so we don't really want this stem anyway. We're just gonna take it all the way down. And let's just do this. Just leave it like that, I guess. And I think we just have to keep working on them until they're better.
That was good, I think.
This one has some serious thorns, man. Take this one out of the middle. So I think we did a little, it had some, I think, damage this winter, and I already pruned on it some. So
you did.
But you can see how these things might need my bigger printers for that one. There we go. Okay. This. Let's see. Just take. All right. This one. This doesn't look very healthy. Definitely need. I think next year I'm gonna need my loppers for this job. So we have this. Dang it. Okay.
Careful. Sheesh.
Sheesh.
Buttercup. It was everything.
Dang.
Carol.
Okay.
Carol sending out.
I think that might have been. I was thinking it was buttercup, but that's like a geranium.
It
Doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be there.
It had roots like a buttercup.
Okay. This is our newest rose. And it did beautifully last year, so hopefully. Again, I'm just taking out all the weak stuff. The rosarians say if I could do that, then they're not any good, but, and like that one's stronger. I feel like there's so very little.
Just leave it there. Right.
All right, we just have those two little guys there. So we have these big pots that I have little miniature roses in and mint. So it looks pretty empty right now, but it gets really full to the point where we barely even see the rose in the summertime. So I'm just gonna clean that out a little bit. Okay, so I cleaned out this pot and you could see my pile of mint debris. And then we cleaned out this pot. Came a lot cleaner. I think that this area is a little bit more shady, so my mint's not quite as insane on that pot. But on this side, you can see it's already starting to come up. It smells so good. We have the little roses have been trimmed back. There's some, they're clean, they're not black spot. They just have soil all over it. Although I do struggle with black spot a little bit in this garden, so I do have to keep up on that. This is the last rose that I have in this garden, and so I'm just gonna tackle it and then go to the backyard. We have one rose in the backyard that we'll take care of. So I don't do a ton of pruning on this rose because again, it's very established. It blooms pretty much all year. You can see some buds up here right now, and so I just try to get the airflow situation going on, and then you can see how close. Here's the crown of the plant. There's ground wire right here, which goes to our house, and then the foundation of our house is right here. I mean, we're talking less than 6 inches. We're talking about like 4 inches right here to the foundation of our house. So, you know, it's been growing here for a really long time, and I don't really like to mess with it a whole lot with this wire here, but I do try to, you know, help it out a little bit. It does get really bad black spot, which is why it's the last one that I prune in the front yard, and then I'll disinfect and go in the backyard. So I just kind of wanted to give you an overview of how it's shaped, kind of in a fan shape. It's really tangly in there, and since I'm out here without Spencer right now, I'm just gonna get at this. I don't have a good place to set this camera here, so I'll just show you the before and after. This is the before. Okay, so that's about all I'm gonna do on this today. You can see it's a lot more airy and open, and there's still a few little buds left, so it can bloom. I cleaned the crown up a little bit just to give it some more airflow, and yeah, that's it for today. All right, so then I just have this rose. You can see the canopy all the way up here, and we're trying to train it to come up over this piece. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of trimming on it, except that it's coming way out from the arbor. So I'm just going to try to train that up a little bit and thin it a little so it has plenty of airflow, and I think I'm just going to leave it and see how it goes this year. You can see there's little buds all up in there, which is going to be so fun to see in just a couple of weeks. I was looking at our camellia bush, which is right there, and it's gotten much bigger. It's got a little bit of yellow leaves still. It looks amazing and from years past, but I'm not seeing blooms on it, so I think it could stand for more fertilizer still, although I do see a couple buds, so I'm holding out a little tiny hope. Okay, so this is all I'm gonna do. This is all I'm gonna do in this rose bush. I didn't take anything off the top. I would need a ladder, but I'm hoping you can catch in here how many buds are up there ready to break. So this will be an ongoing thing through the summer. We'll just keep going through, making sure it has plenty of air. and like that's kind of jumbly in there still, but I'm happy with this today. I'm getting bombarded by birds because they think it's dinner time, and they're not really excited that I'm out here in their business. So I think I'm just gonna leave this for some summer pruning later and see how it goes later on in the season. I think it's gonna be really beautiful this year. Thanks for coming along today. Make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so we can see you in the next one. Until then, keep celebrating life.